So emerging adulthood. Emerging adulthood, that is the period somewhere between late adolescence and early adulthood. The period is specified as 18 to 25 years by Dr. Arnett. He has done some research and he has identified 5 different issues with the young adult which can distinguish between early adulthood and young adulthood. So these 5 points are: one is identity exploration, second is instability, third is self-focus, fourth is feeling of adulthood, and fifth is sense of possibilities for future. So what Dr. Arnett said, that these 5 aspects are strongly dominating the mindset of individuals in the age of 18 to 25 years. So what are these aspects that we'll study in detail? We'll try to understand in detail. And these 5 aspects are distinct from issues of early adulthood. That is what is stated by Dr. Arnett. So he said identity exploration. So by the age of 16 to 18, identity is formed, or some or few boys or girls can face the identity crisis. So assuming that identity is formed, the individual is moving ahead. The young adult is moving ahead and he explores his identity. Exploration of identity means he try to identify the possibilities of new relationship with parents, the new relationship with the job, new relationship with the peer, or new relationship with the social worker, politicians, and bureaucrats in our society. So either he gets associated with them or he keeps the distance from such people. Means on the basis of his own identity. For example, the mindset of well-matured young adult is that he wants to become a scientist. That mindset is set. So what he will do, he will go closer to the people having knowledge of science, who have already done the research, who are well known in the field of research. So he will go closer to them. And politics is not his baby, so he will keep distance from the politics. Even he will straightway tell his parents or family member or even spouse that my intention and intent is to become a scientist, and therefore please do not put any kind of hurdle in my intent. So that way identity will be explored in many areas. One person can explore the identity in 1, 2, or 3 areas, 4 areas. Later on, he will be focused on one area. So that way identity, personal identity will be explored. So state of identity exploration and state of identity development means developed identity is different. That is what is stated by Dr. Arnett. Now instability. One side is exploration of identity. The other side of it is instability. If person fails to explore own identity, so naturally he will not be stable in his life. He may be trying. Yesterday I have dealt with one student, age 25. He did engineering from SB Jain Engineering College. Had a backup, somehow passed during the Corona period. He took 5 years to pass the engineering exam. Then he came to me. Sorry. Then he went for one private institution to Pune to ensure the job. So he has done some job placement course, paid 30,000 rupees. But out of 120 boys enrolled in that job placement course, only 70-75 got the job, and rest of the students, they could not get the job. He is one of them. He could not get a job, so he came back to Nagpur. And now at the age of 25, he is telling parent that he want to give the banking exam. So education is in electronic engineering. He could not get the job in engineering or IT field. He is aversive of coding. He cannot do the coding properly. He cannot write a program, and that is must to get a good job. Every engineer must know the coding, how to write a program in IT. And if it is not known, so he will not get, normally he will not get the job. So now he is planning to do the banking. And again, he is confused whether he will be able to do or not. So that is instability. And this way you will find that at least 20 to 30% of literate population, particularly those who have done their graduation in engineering, science, commerce, art, 30 to 40% of the population is having instability in their mind. They do not have a next path ahead. They know they want to do job, but they don't get a job. If someone gets a job, the salary is so low that is not matched with his identity. So again, he will be remaining a job dissatisfied at the job, or he will quit the job. So that is the way instability occurs. And I have seen this kind of instability even till the age of 30, 32 among some people. After 30, 32, they realizes that now they cannot get the job, they cannot get the government employment, and even private people are giving very low salary. So then they, at the age of 28, 30, they decides to do some business with the help of financing from the family or finances from the bank. So again, it is a sign of instability. If at all the business is the goal, so then what they have to do? They have to start exploring new businesses at the age of 18, 20, 21, 22. That way, instability is a part of young adult who is between 18 to 25. Now, self-focus. Instability is a negative side. Identity exploration is the positive side. Self-focus is again a positive side of this phase. The person becomes self-focused. It is also said that the person becomes career-focused. So, career-focused and self-focused can be used interchangeably. Now, he wants to stand himself on his feet. He wants to have a good career. He wants to have a good job. He wants to score best mark in examination. He wants to support parent. He wants to take share of some responsibility in family. He also contributes on some social task, gets attached with some NGO. He can enter into politics at this age and begin the career in the politics. He can become a good worker or good volunteer for any political party, and that age is 18 to 25. So whichever area he choose, he is self-focused, means he want to do it. He feels that that is now needed for himself, and that is a self-focus. So self-focus can be in any area. Any area can be chosen by a person to be a self-focus. But what is the requirement? Taking a decision on the choices is important. If he is randomly moving from here and there, that is instability. But if he is not moving, he is just focused on one thing, so that is self-focus. And in which area the focus will be there, that is identity exploration. Now, feeling of adulthood. This is another phenomena which is commonly observed amongst 18 to 25 years of youth. They smoke like adult. They sit in hotels, restaurants, and drink like adult. By the age of 18 to 20, they are not enough matured physically and mentally to do so many activities like adult. But they do it. Particularly feeling of adulthood, one can observe in hookah parlor. Most of the girls and boys at the age of 18, 20, 22, or even the adults also. Adults mean up to 30 years of age. But unfortunately, in Shivaji Nagar, where I have an office, there was one hookah parlor on the back side of my office. So I used to observe girls and boys right from the 9 a.m. Youngsters, 17, 16, mostly in a pair, two girls together, one boy or girl together, two boys together. They comes in pair and they were enjoying hookah. And then they were moving on within half hour from there. Many of them were coming to our office to ask where the place is, like that. So that is feeling of adulthood. Means maybe ab adult ban gaya. But it is feeling. It is not reality. It is just feeling. It is just a immature emotion in the mindset of a young adult. And sense of possibilities for future. Again, this feeling of adulthood sometimes is dangerous also. Sometimes it is good also. If someone is feeling that he become an adult, so he takes the responsibility of family. He takes the responsibility of his own career. He takes the responsibility of a good patriotic national. So that way responsibility is accepted as a matter of feeling of adulthood. That is the positive side of feeling of adulthood. Then sense of possibilities for future. What I can do in future. That sense develops. Again, developing sense of possibilities about the future is a mindset. It develops in the mindset of the person. Now, I think this is clear about what Dr. Arnett said. Now, Erickson explained it as intimacy versus isolation. During this period, the major conflict centers are forming intimate, loving relationship with other people, particularly opposite gender. So, intimacy versus isolation, that is one kind of challenge in the life of a person between 18 to 25 years of age. But there are many such challenges that is given by Dr. Arnett. Erickson has explained only one challenge. That is intimacy with and versus isolation. And it is not necessary that the intimate and loving relationship can be formed with the opposite gender. It can be formed with the same gender also, but rarely, in few cases. And then the person can be homosexual, or the person can be lesbian. That is also possible. Even intimacy can be formed between daughter and mother, daughter, son, and father. So, intimacy in the family and isolation in the family is possible. Nowadays, one common phenomena I am observing in young adults, particularly in a age between 15, 15 to 25 years of age, or rather 15 to 22, not 25, 15 to 22, breakup. They are breaking up their friendship with the first friend, second friend, third friend. They are not in love. They are just going together, enjoying for some days, having the dates, dating, and then later on they break. I have handled few such cases. So that is isolation. Means when the relationship is broken, whether it is between the opposite gender, or it is with the family members, or it is with the members of the society. If the relationship is broken for no reasons, what is important? For no reasons. There is no reason. The reason is foolish. It is a kind of immature thought, and then the relationship is broken. That part is called as isolation. This stage is identified due to latest social change in US. Marriage age is shifted from 20 to 24 and 27 to 29 years, enabling young adults to enjoy and explore love affairs, education and career. Actually, Dr. Arnett का जो research है, ये United States का research है. Early adulthood, 20 to 40 years. Now we have learned about 18 to 25. Now 20 to 40 years. Physically, a teenage body shifts to an adult body by putting on weight and increasing height. Body fats are added in male and female both. This is a very common phenomenon, and all of you are aware about physical changes which takes place between 20 to 40 years of age. Cognitive changes. Young adults shifts from multiple rational thinking to realistic and practical thinking. They use intelligence for accepting challenges and attain achievement. The principle of relativity has to be well understood. Now this needs explanation. Now, cognitive change. Actually, we enter into a rational thinking by the age of 15 to 20. Means when we become a graduate, it is expected that the rational thinking should be incorporated in the mind of the person. Rational thinking is more of scientific nature, step-by-step thinking, cause and effect relationship thinking. You cannot just believe on heuristic, tark nahi, judgment nahi. There should be a rational. There is no tark, there is no judgment. There should be a rational of accepting something or rejecting something. I will give you an example of a rational thinking. Like you all are attending my coaching classes, and if I treat you a student of age between 18 to 25, yeah, what is the sense here? They are student. What happens if their age is higher? They are a student. And if I deal with you like a students in classroom, particularly while students doing the graduation, naturally it is going to hurt somebody. So here my rationale should be, I am teaching to a people having expertization in their own areas, they are masters in their own areas, but they want to have to add some knowledge in psychology, and that's why they are becoming my student. So that is my correct rationale of dealing with you. So that way, any action needs a rationale, and this rationale has to be accommodated in the mindset by the age of 21, by the age of graduation. There is one research conducted in United States long back in 1995, 30 years ago. The research says that only 29% of US graduates develop the rational thinking, rest do not develop a rational thinking. That is about the cognitive changes. And now psychosocial changes. So you have one theory called as Levinson's theory of life structure. And we have to understand this theory in detail. So we'll just go to theory. What Levinson suggests that there are two type of period in our life. One is called as stable period and second is called as transition period. And then he has divided the whole adulthood into 6 different stages. And he says in these 6 stages, there are some period called as stable period of life and some period are called as transition period of life. So early adulthood, 17 to 22, that is considered as transition period of life, because here from adolescence to adulthood is the transition, and that is why this early adulthood period is mostly unstable for an individual. Now then, entering the adult world. So as you enter into adult world, you become more focused on, and you also become more confident about. You also become more independent about your choices of your partner, your choices of your job, your choices of your friendship, your choices about your values, and your choices about your lifestyle. So 20 to 28, it is the period which can be considered as stable period. Stable period. Because actually, in one sense, it is not stable. The person who cannot make the decision, for him, the period is not stable. But what Levinson said, at least at this age, you have scope of making decisions. Making decision is in your hand. Means, for example, if a person fall in love with the religion opposite, which is exactly having the values and rituals opposite of another religion. Means, for example, just you can take that Hindu boy wants to marry a Muslim girl or Muslim boy wants to marry a Hindu girl. So that decision cannot be taken between 17 to 22 years of age, because you are independent. You are not independent. You are dependent on your parent. Whereas same decision can be taken more comfortably in the period of 22 to 28 years, because by that time you have a job, in hand, you have a independence, you have a financial arrangement, and again law is in your favor. So choice is become easy, and that is why Levinson said such period are stable period. So here in entering to adulthood, you can make choice of falling in with love and selecting spouse or partner. You can select the job on your own, whether to do the business or job. Friends you can select as per your choices. Then your parent will not impose on your choices. They will not force you to make a friendship with this type of boy and that type of, don't make a friendship with that type of boy. Parent will not force you. Values. You can form your own values without any pressure, and you can choose your own lifestyle again without any pressure. So entering the adult world is a stable period. That is what Levinson said. Then age 30 transition, 28 to 33. Here, the Levinson said most of the changes occur during this period. Now, what are the issues during this period? You become a parent, then you have a kids. So responsibility of the kids. So your mindset will change. Changes of structure, either direct change or more of a severe and stressful crisis. Some crisis can also occur. So loss of spouse, loss of newly born, that kind of loss of parent. Your mother or father can die during this period. When your age is 28 to 33, you may fall into financial crisis for any reason. You may lose job for unnecessary reasons. So that is why age 30 transition, the period is 28 to 33. Now then, settling down. If you have passed on this transition period successfully, then settling down period is 33 to 40.
Good morning, Mr. Dawan.
Narendra sir, please mute yourself. Narendra ji. Sometime his mic doesn't work. Therefore.
No, I have muted now.
Okay.
Okay. So settling down period. Then the next period begins, that is period of settling down. Here you establish yourself by name and fame as an independent adult, as well as a responsible family member, or as a responsible member of this society. So you establish yourself in society. Family, career, and your personal accomplishments are clearly visible to you, particularly position in the company, promotion, then added responsibility, acceptance of added responsibility, and your parental behavior begins. You act like parent. Means a young boy or girl who was earlier the young one now acts like their own parent. They become the parent in this settling down period. Now midlife transition 40 to 45. I have already discussed this midlife transition in detail in first session. In a midlife transition, particularly what Levinson said, life structures comes into question, usually a time of crisis in the meaning, direction, and value of each person's life. Neglected parts of self seek expressions. Men are seen more as a parent than a brother to other men who are somewhat younger than them, and this message comes as an irritation at first. Also, at this time, men becoming increasingly aware of death, and they are remaining of how short life really is. They become involved in trying to leave a legacy, and this usually forms the core of the second half of his life. Now, I said this is a transition period 40 to 45 because whatever you have gained, you try to give it to others. Normally, it should happen, but nowadays, in our society, this is not happening actually. In fact, at the age of 40 to 45, people are becoming more possessive. They are becoming more possessive about their knowledge, their business, their partners, their spouse, their family members. But in a normal course of time, in a normal course of development of a mindset, this period is considered as the midlife transition in which whatever you have learned and whatever you have earned has to be passed on to someone. You can pass on it to your family member. You can pass on it to your son or daughter, but has to be passed on. That is more important in a midlife transition. And if midlife transition is successfully attended, then attending life satisfaction and integration of personality becomes easier after the age of 65. The integrated personality always attend the midlife transition positive. That is the meaning. But there are some negative aspect of the midlife transition also. At this age, many of the people, even amongst you people, or many of the students who have taken admission in psychology, or I may say many of the students who have taken admission in IGNU courses, IGNU 200 courses, they are somewhere feel gap between what they are and what they are doing. Means this is a gap between perceived self and real self. So the self is not yet properly understood. The gap remains between perceived self and real self. Means a person assume that he can do something better than what he is doing now. So his perception is that he has capability to do something better, but he is not able to do it because of some reason. And then he try to explore the reason in the form of his talent, desire, and aspirations. So then he try to bridge the gap. He try to reduce the gap between his perceived self and real self and try to reach to the reality. And that is why most of the people comes at this age for studying new subjects. 40 to 45, that is midlife transition. And then entering middle adulthood, that is sixth stage. Choices must be made, a new life structure form, person must be committed to new tasks. Some sources are stated that there was a late adulthood stage during which time a man spent time and reflecting on past and achievement, regrets and making peace with oneself and another. Actually, हमारे हिंदू धर्म में इसे एंटरिंग इनटू मिडल एडल्टहुड यह गृहस्थाश्रम की बिगिनिंग है, यानी गृहस्थाश्रम की तैयारी 45 से 50 साल में लोग कर लेते हैं, ऐसा अमेरिकन साइंटिस्ट का कहना है, लेविंसन का कहना है। मतलब अब क्या है, आपकी लाइफ पूरी सेटल हो गई है, अब आपको किसी चीज की चिंता नहीं है, आपने जो अपने पास था वो अपने डिसेंडर्स को दे दिया और अब आप आगे बढ़ जाना चाहते हो अपनी जिंदगी में, and that is again entering into middle adulthood. So this way these 6 stages are explained. This meeting is going to end in 1 minute, so I will stop here. Rest I will explain on Monday. This much is enough for Levinson to understand the Levinson.
Yes. Yes, sir. Sir, that is you said about the subjects, remaining subjects that research methodology and another as so advanced social psychology. One another subject is also